Call tonight, Safety Services and License Committee to order. Clerk, could you please take a roll call?
Councilwoman Graziano,
Present.
Councilman Ritz, Councilman Trafficante,
Present.
Councilwoman Baziri,
Present.
Councilman Andujar,
Present.
Council Vice President Haroyan,
Present.
Council President Wall.
Here.
Could I please ask for approval of minutes from the October 6th meeting, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
Please have a roll call vote.
Councilwoman Graziano,
Yes.
Councilman Ritz,
Yes.
Councilman Trafficante,
Yes.
Councilwoman Baziri,
Yes.
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Council Vice President Haroyan,
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
Any
We voted on.
Clerk, could I please have a roll call vote?
Is this on the minutes of the last meeting? We just did,
We already voted.
we did it, yes.
I'm going to open up public comment tonight. Is there anyone here that would like to comment on agenda items only? Tom, it doesn't look like anyone's here. Is anyone online?
There is no public comment online.
I'm going to close public comment tonight. Okay, first on the agenda tonight is a Class BV liquor license. This is a new one for Ara Enterprise Incorporated doing business as Sanya's Market located at 816 Park Avenue. The hours of operation will be Monday through Sunday from 10 a.m. till 12 a.m. Amelia, you look,
Yeah, our agendas are misprinted, so you have the agenda, so we're following along with you.
I did see that online though, when I read it.
Yeah,
That's,
clerk, could I,
let me make a motion to approve first.
please have the,
So moved.
Second. Second.
Madam Chair, this is the Armenian place that on the corner over there across from the old Benny's?
yes, it is.
Great place. I've been visiting that restaurant for years and they have some good baklava and they have the best pockets. So I'm glad that they're expanding.
Thank you. Else? We have a roll call vote.
Councilwoman Graziano,
Yes.
Councilman Ritz.
Yes.
Council Trafficante.
Yes.
Councilwoman Baziri,
Yes.
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Councilwoman Haroyan,
Yes,
Council President Wall.
Yes.
okay. That will go to a full council meeting tonight and you're all set for now. Matters carried over. Indoor entertainment license new and its license period, current date 12/1/25. Box and they have withdrawn their application, so we won't be doing that tonight. Next, new matters before the committee, indoor outdoor entertainment license for Brewology LLC located at 160 Atwood Ave. Could I please have them approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion here? Clerk, may I please have a roll call vote?
Councilwoman Graziano,
Yes.
Councilman Ritz, Councilman Trafficante,
Yes.
Councilwoman Baziri,
Yes.
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Council Vice President Haroyan,
Yes,
Council President Wall.
Yes.
okay. The meeting is over. I'm going to call the meeting to adjourn now. All
So
those in
moved.
favor
A
say.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
All in
Aye.
fa- Aye.
Aye.
we're going to call the Public Works Committee meeting to order on Thursday, October 16th, 2025 at 6:04 PM. Clerk, may I get the roll call, please?
Yes, present.
Councilwoman Vasari,
Present.
Councilman Campiano,
Present.
Councilman Banano,
Present.
Council Vice President Haroyan, Councilwoman Graziano,
Present.
Council President Wall.
Here.
Thank you. Approval of meeting minutes. We're looking for an approval of meeting minutes from September 11th, 2025. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Any discussion? Seeing none, may I please get a roll call?
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Councilwoman Vasari,
Yes.
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Banano,
Yes.
Council Vice President Haroyan, Councilwoman Graziano,
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
Thank you. Committee business matters carried over. There are none this evening. We're going to move on to public comment. I will offer the public in chambers to come up to the podium, state your name and address, and provide public comment on docketed items only. Seeing none in the chambers, may I please see if there's anyone on Zoom who wishes to make public comment?
There's no public comment online.
Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and close public comment on docketed items. New matters before the committee. We have a petition of Narragansett Electric and Verizon New England for installation of a new pole, which is P1-50, for a new reclosure on Western Industrial Drive. We've received a letter from our Public Works Director, and it recommends that we move forward and approve this pole. So I am recommending that we issue an approval.
Motion to approve.
Second,
Discussion?
I do have a question. Maybe Frank could answer this. I have a question. When Rhode Island Energy, Verizon, they asked for a new pole, how long is it taking them to remove the old pole? And are they leaving it there?
Well, that's two different questions. This is not for that. When they put in, these are brand new poles in new locations, so it's got nothing to do with the removal of an existing pole. As far as them having to take the time to take out the old ones after they put a new one adjacent to it, it's a constant battle with us right now, trying to make sure we get them done in a timely manner. I'm not aware of any required time that they have to take those out at this time. Appreciate it.
Okay, Councilman Andahar?
Now that we're going off topic, Director, question, when they take out the pole and install a new pole and it's concrete, do they repatch it with concrete or do they put asphalt or do they? That's my only question.
Yeah, they're required to
Or-
place it in kind. It may not be done immediately, but they are required to go back and replace whatever they take out in kind.
Okay, because I know, and especially Councilman Ritz's area, that's over there. A lot of people walk and jog and along that sidewalk. So I just wanted to make sure that, you know, there's no hazards for our constituents over there.
Thank you.
Madam Chair. I have a
Yes.
question. Mr. Director, I received a request from Major Catalano, Senator Catalano, for a street light. When I went to investigate the area, there was no pole there. So how do you go about getting a pole location installed?
Yeah, I would have to look into that with them. I'm not sure why they would be looking for a new pole in that location. I mean, if there is no light there today, at one point in time, they felt that it wasn't necessary. I'm not sure what has changed that they would require it now.
I investigated the area. It's basically relatively a new street with several houses being constructed. So that probably could.
Would this happen to be Situate Farms?
Yes.
Would it happen to be?
We're headed off topic
Yeah,
here. Sorry.
How do you go about getting a pole location for that?
I mean, if it was, they would have to put a request into either Rhode Island Energy to have a pole installed, and then the city would put in the light itself.
Madam Chair, if I may,
Yeah.
respectfully.
Yeah.
We're going a little bit outside
Yeah,
of
that's what I
what
just-
the agenda item actually is. It's really
Yes.
confined to this one specific location. If we're going to talk about procedures.
We'll
we
add
need
it to the agenda.
We need to re-advertise it.
Thank you. Can I get the roll vote, please?
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Councilwoman Nazari,
Yes.
Councilman Campiano.
Yes.
Councilman Banano,
Yes.
Council Vice President Horoyan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Graziano.
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
Thank you. Next petition of Narragansett Electric is in New England for installation of another pole, which is P5-50 on Western Industrial Drive. Again, we have a letter generated from our Public Works Director, which recommends approval. May I get a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
Director, thank you for submitting the letter. When Western Drive was created, when they added the new poles, basically they just did a survey study, and then that's how you got the poles in this, on the street, correct?
That's how they did it initially. Now I guess they have other businesses moving in there, so they need additional poles to service some of those new businesses.
Thank you, Director. Traff, that was for you, buddy.
So Director Correo, it's not on it's not on my agenda to approve new pole 17 and 18.
That's what I wanted to comment on.
Okay.
They seem to have trouble getting their narrative to match up with what they show us on the plans. But the narrative that they provided us in the plans that show it is there are two additional poles, 17 and 18 on Western Industrial Drive as well.
Right,
So
but,
my approval letter reflects that.
okay.
It's not what's on the cover letter that they sent in.
Okay, Solicitor, if I have a question, so my opinion is we're only gonna approve new pole P550 because that's all that's listed on the agenda, even though they referenced the other two, we'll have to move it to the next meeting.
That is correct. That should be specifically stated.
We'll have to move it to the next meeting. So right now, we're only gonna, this motion is just stated to approve new pole P550. And we'll put the other two on the next agenda. Any other discussion?
Would we need a motion to continue and a withdrawal of the motion to approve?
No,
Would that be
no,
correct?
we're okay.
My understanding is, so you're going to take a motion to approve this P5-50, I believe. That's all you need right now.
We're good on the motion right now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, may I get a roll call vote, please?
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Councilwoman Nazari,
Yes.
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Banano,
Yes.
Council Vice President Horoyan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Graziano,
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
Thank you. So next topics are council communication, and I'm going to look to Council President Wall for discussion on 45 Poplar Drive for the corner of Hillside and Cypress related to rat and rodent issues.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I did have an opportunity, actually, Councilwoman Vaziri and I did go out to this property 2 weeks ago. And I'd say we still had about a dozen, I'd say a dozen, would that be about right? Perhaps a little bit more, a dozen rat holes on that property. I won't belabor the point. You all know what they look like. I've done more than a few shows and dances here. But the property still isn't rodent free. Hence the reason I think we need stronger ordinances for this. I won't belabor the point. You've heard enough. Would you, absolutely, Director, if you'd like to address it.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Council President. Glad you're keeping the topic alive until it's fixed, this progress. But I can just give you the update. I've asked Constituent Affairs to speak with inspections to
Sure.
give an update, so I'm happy to provide what was provided to me. There was a discussion at the last meeting. I believe there was I had witnessed it too, a cracked dumpster that has since been replaced. they're calling it the original rat holes, the rodent holes near the right, building to the right, nearest the intersection. Those appear to be filled. They filled them if they hadn't come back. I don't know the exact timing that from what you witnessed, but they did also mention that they did discover new holes in the area between the two buildings, which obviously tells us that it's not eradicated. But it's good to see that we're getting reports that there's communication, that they're addressing it, and they're transparent, with us. But big boxes obviously are still being used at all the locations, and certainly they addressed those spots that recently came about. And they confirmed that there was a report of a dumpster on the 125 Midway building, but there's no outside dumpster there. That's just, it's a fence around where a dumpster would have been probably in the past, but there's no dumpster there to
I
report.
did observe that as well.
And inspections hasn't received any further complaints, which is not to say it's gone, but that's a good sign that the residents are not submitting complaints to us. So certainly we'll keep up on it. It's a good cooperative effort, but it does seem, I think the spirit of this thing, it appears that the property owner is giving attention to this, and they're addressing it. And certainly it's wildlife, and it could take time, and it can't be complete, but I think we're feeling good that there's good communication with inspections, the council, the administration, and the property owner themselves. So we'll keep you up to speed as we know. Happy to do that.
And Director, I certainly am thankful for the efforts that you put in, and I know inspections put in, and the communication. This is how can I say this delicately? This is definitely a moving target, all right? So I think the goal, and I probably take a little bit of umbrance with the phrase, these are new rat holes as opposed to old rat holes. I don't know if I want to, I mean, if they were there, I'd say, well, you just want to get rid of the rat holes. But it's ongoing. Maybe they have to step up there if the holes, and listen, I don't want to go too far off. You and I could talk about this for a great deal of time. If the holes are popping up at a greater frequency than you're able to fill them, and I think you have to increase your efforts to fill them. I don't, that would be just logic. So whatever they're doing doesn't appear to be, it's working a little bit, not working well enough to eradicate, as you said. That's all I said. And I'm exhausted. I'm good with that.
Go ahead.
They are traveling up towards Oaklawn Ave. There was one in my yard, dead. It was very big. So.
There's reports, many locations in the city. And I just want to mention this, not Misery Loves Company, but there's a statewide problem. You're going to get in rural areas too. But as they come in, we do try to address them. Councilwoman, you're probably aware that we have a program where if residents call in, we will abate their properties. Be happy to do so and address it that way. A dead rat's probably better than a live rat, to be honest with you. Maybe it's being addressed, but thanks for letting us know.
Anyone else? President Wall? Councilman Capabiano?
Thank you, Chairman. I did go by there this morning. I must say that the dumpster area was pristine. It was well kept. The dumpsters were in excellent condition. I noticed all the bait boxes. I walked around the property. I didn't see any rat holes. I did see some witness marks where they could have been filled, but I didn't see any live ones. I called I'll call him the assistant rodent control officer, Chris Lowens, and I asked him about filling them. And he says, you can fill them all day long. If they're still live, they're just going to poke their head back out, kind of like that movie Caddyshack. So you can do that. They do make a bait that you could put down in those holes, but it's not, Cranston doesn't use it because I guess it's dangerous to other animals. So it's not something that you want to do. But there's so many bait boxes there that there must be more rats than bait boxes. So it looked clean. I just want to say it looked clean. The dumpsters were in good shape. I think they're addressing it. It just might take more time than we want it to take. And if you do fill the holes, you could tell that they're still there if they pop a new one. So hopefully this will end soon, but thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilman Bonanno?
Thank you. I just wanted to sort of echo a little bit of what Councilman Campiano said. You know, I think I've said it before that I drive by this location twice daily, at least, going to work, coming home from work. And usually, you know, when I'm exiting Garden City, that's the way I prefer to go. Council President Wall and I were out there at the beginning. And while there is still progress to be made, the progress that has been made is substantial, is quite substantial. I actually, when I was driving to work one day this week, or it might have been late last week, I saw them taking the old resin cracked up dumpster out and installing the new steel dumpster. So, I mean, this is sort of a testament of how things are supposed to work, with the exception of some of the speed of the people that own the building. You know, the residents came to the council people went to the administration then sent the inspectors out there, and the dominoes started to fall to get this rectified. We would all like it to be done in 25 minutes, but we're making progress in the right direction. I think, and I hope that where there are problems, this property is a microcosm of what will be done throughout the entire city. Somebody reaches out to us, we go to the administration per the charter, and then, you know, the administration and keeping us updated is able to enact something that's effective. And I think that's what's happening here. You're going to see in the next meeting some stuff that has to deal with road abatement directly and indirectly. And I hope that's also going to improve things. So I think we're definitely headed in the right direction. It's no secret rats have been a problem for years. And, you know, we should give ourselves a little credit, because a lot of people have talked about it. Everybody involved in this process wants to do something about it. Everybody here, and, you know, everybody representing the city of Cranston right now. So that's also a positive move in the right direction. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on council? Okay, very much. We're going to move on. Councilwoman Haroyan and Graziano generally request updates on Budlong Pool and the splash pad. Perhaps, I don't know if there's anything new, but Director Moretti, if you have anything you'd like to, or Director Correo.
Yeah, there are three components to the Budlong Pool. It's the pool, the pump house, and the pool house. Right now, they're currently working on the pool. The pool, if anybody has had the opportunity to go by it recently, all the forms are up that actually outline what the edge of the pool will be. All the reinforcing has been installed and inspected by the city. And they're going to be starting the placement of what they call gunite on the pool bottom and walls starting the end of next week. Because again, that is weather dependent. So we're hoping the weather holds out. They do plan on starting that next week, and it's probably going to be anywhere from a 3 to 5 day process to do the floors and then work the way up the walls. The pump house is where you're actually going to have the pumps to filter the water that's in the pool. They're currently working on bringing the electrical into that. They had to build up the floor system in there because it used to be on a wooden platform. What they did is took that out. They ran the conduit that they needed in order to bring electrical power to that system. And then from there, they're going to be pouring a concrete floor in there, and that'll be completing the pump house, and that will be done this year. And on the pool house, the current status is all of the interior work is pretty much done. The only thing left is they're working on the heating systems that are in there, doing the final steps of that. And then the final painting will go in once everything inside of that building is complete on that lower level. There were a couple of pieces that were damaged of the mirrors, so they had to replace those, so they're waiting for those to come in. And then from there, everything else has been in, the toilets are in, the sinks have been installed, the heating unit is installed, the hot water tank has been installed, and anything left would be to test those once we bring water into that building.
Okay, great. Do you have I think I briefly touched upon this at our last meeting, asking the same question, but based on progress, do you have a winter sort of wrap up where you're gonna like get the site stabilized and stop work for the winter, or you're gonna continue through as long as the weather is good?
We're going to try to continue as much as possible, but we're anticipating that by the middle of December, they'll complete the work. Once they put the gunite around the pool, they'll put a little bit of water in the base of it to help stabilize the bottom of the pool, and then they need to backfill around the pool. They're not going to do the flat work, which is the concrete patios, but they'll be able to backfill the pool. That'll stabilize it for the winter. That'll be able to allow it to settle, whatever needs to settle. They'll winterize the piping for the filters that get back into the pump house, and then we'll be shutting down the project until March, depending on the weather.
President Haroyan, did you have something you would like to ask?
No, all's good. Thank you.
Anyone else on council? Councilman Capabiano?
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick question. Is there a life expectancy to the gunite pool?
What's that?
Is there a life expectancy to the gunite pool?
I would have to look into that for you to see what that life is of the gunite. I'm not exactly sure what that there's a warranty on it once they install the pool. But as far as how long the gunite lasts, I'm not aware of that right now. I could gather that information and then get it to you.
It's the best you can get, just in general, like, it's the only way to go in New England because it provides the most resistance to like the thawing and freezing that we see here in New England. So I don't know it either, but, it's the most expensive.
Yeah,
Right,
I
and
mean,
again, that is the base. Once that is done, and then next springtime, when the weather breaks and the temperatures are there, they're actually gonna plaster the inside of the pool. And then you put the tile down that defines the lane lines, and any change in depth of the water, you have to have an underwater marking of that so people know when they're in there. So that's really the base. So you don't even actually see the gunite itself. That's just the actual foundation.
I expected that, but having a problem year after year with the pool in the past, it's nice to hear that this is going to be state of the art. So
Yes.
thank you.
Councilman Bonanno?
I have one question. When's it gonna open?
The pool itself, I understand in the past has been opening up at the first week in July. And we anticipate this pool will be done and open on that date.
Great, that's keep hearing, so we appreciate that. Anyone else on council? Okay, thank you for the update. We really appreciate it and keeping the public informed. Seeing nothing else on the agenda, may I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned at 6:27.
It's in 3 minutes. Thank everybody for coming today. I want to begin the Ordinance Committee meeting on Thursday, October 16th. It is about 6:33 PM. Clerk, can you please take a roll?
Council Vice President Haroyan,
Present.
Councilman Campiano,
Present.
Council Banano,
Here.
Councilwoman Graziano,
Present.
Councilman Andujar,
Present.
Council President Wall.
May I entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the September 11th, 2025 meeting?
Motion to approve minutes as presented.
Second.
Clerk, can you please take a roll?
Council Vice President Haroyan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Vaziri,
Yes.
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Council Banano,
Yes.
Councilwoman Graziano,
Yes.
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
May I entertain a motion to take the agenda out of order?
So move, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Clerk, please take a roll.
Council Vice President Haroyan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Vaziri,
Yes.
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Council Banano,
Yes.
Councilwoman Graziano,
Yes.
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Now I would like to move to public hearings, public comment. Is there anyone in the chamber that would like to give public comment today? Mr. Director.
Chair, normally it might be during council discussion, but maybe take this opportunity up front. On this docket, when there's something on a docket, the administration or various department heads or people invest some time to prepare for the meetings, and I'm not sure where this is going this evening, but I certainly want to give the administration and the Cranston Police Department the opportunity to speak on a subject that's on the agenda versus just kind of sending them home if depending on the course of the events here. And I think that it's particularly important. This is a council that, except for Councilman Campopiano, I think relatively in your roles, new to the role of council person to hear what has been done at the Cranston Police Range over the years. It's an important topic, and I think educating people it'd be very, very beneficial, whether it be the public or the newer council members. So with that, Colonel Winquist is here to speak. We have Lieutenant Digon, who's in charge of the range up there. We also have Lieutenant Shore, we have Detective Caramonte and Officer LaQuali, I see. But if at least the Colonel has the opportunity to speak, and also Lieutenant Digon, because it's a very, I'll say, important topic to not just the police department, but the safety of the city of Cranston. So with that, if through the chair, if I can give them the opportunity to
Yes,
speak
if the
at this
Colonel,
time.
thank you, Director. If the Colonel could please step forward.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to give you some facts about the police department range, because I can tell you there's been a lot of misinformation that's been put out there by a select number of people that live in close proximity to the range. And as the Chief of Staff said, it's important as new council members here that I think should be educated on the range and the steps we've taken since I've been the police chief. I actually just hit my 11th year anniversary on October 1st. So I've been at it a while, and I just want you to know, not to use the pun, but it hasn't fallen on deaf ears whatsoever, the complaints that came forward. I will tell you that the police department range is a critical asset to the police department. By state law, every officer on the police department must qualify with the weapons they carry a minimum of once a year, and a minimum of 100 rounds have to be fired, and that's based on state law. The range first opened in 1952, so it's almost 75 years that range has been in the same location, and generally the layout of the range has been the same, minus some addition of some buildings and some parking lot changes that took place there. So it's a critical asset. It's one of the best police department ranges in the state, and we join our partners in law enforcement in Warwick that have a range that's close to neighborhoods. I came from the Rhode Island State Police. We trained in Foster, Rhode Island. I trained there for 25 years and qualified there every year. and receive minimal complaints from the neighbors. We're carrying the exact same weapons that pretty much every police department's carrying across the state, and that's the pistol and the AR-15 rifle. So we're not firing anything exotic up there, if you will. We're firing your traditional weapons that have been in place for a while. Prior to the rifles being implemented, when I became chief, we used shotguns. And if anybody's heard a shotgun go off, quite honestly, it's as loud, if not louder, than the rifles that we fire. So really, there hasn't been substantial changes. The one consistent change is that there's certain neighbors that moved back to the area or bought houses in that area. And then COVID happened and they spent a lot more time in their homes and they could hear the range more often. I will tell you that the range itself is not used on a daily basis. On average, it's used 65 days out of the year. And that includes our police department and 3 other police departments that use the range for approximately 3 weeks a year. So 65 days, that's 17.8% of the year, and that's 408 hours. So unfortunately, a lot of the range use is condensed in a short period of time. So during the winter months, obviously from, this time of year, November to January, February, it gets minimal use because obviously the weather is what it is. We qualify annually with our pistols in the fall. So we're required to do a low light shooting by law. We're done by 8:30 when we do the light level shooting. Yeah, restricted light shooting, I should say. And we qualify with the rifles twice a year. And I don't need to tell you how important it is that we're proficient with the weapons that we carry, not only by the law, but the fact that we may have to actually use our weapons. And as you're aware from the Plainfield Pike shooting that we had, we were up against an armed assailant who pointed a gun at some of our officers. He was behind a vehicle. And thankfully, those officers had rifles and were able to eliminate the threat at that point in time. You can turn the news on every single day of the week and you'll see active shooter situations taking place. To think it can't happen here would be an illusion. We know that we have to be prepared for the actual worst case scenario. So I don't think anybody's arguing the fact that we need to qualify, we need to practice, we need to be proficient. We have a tactical team that responds to the worst case scenarios. They train twice a month at the range. So one of the misnomers is that the range is used on weekends and holidays. I can tell you absolutely 100% that's inaccurate. There's cameras on the range. Some of the people that are against the range had alleged that we're using the range on the weekends. All I do is pull up the cameras and I can verify that's not accurate. So there's been a lot of false allegations regarding that. So it's not used. And I can tell you when I first became chief, there were the outside departments, there were many that were using the department range. In the spirit of cooperation, they would rent the range from the city and we use the money to upkeep the range. I eliminated all the rifle fire from outside police departments. So there's no rifle fire other than the Cranston Police Department at our range. And we're down to 3 police departments that use our range currently because they have nowhere else to go. And in turn, they pay a fee. And we also, they bring personnel to us when we have critical incident situations like the Bearcat, some tactical vehicles that we unfortunately don't have right now, but we're in the process of getting. So we've really cut down on the use of the range. The resolution that was presented by Mayor Trafficani talks about bringing a sound mitigation expert in to assess the range. That was already done in 2017 and was done in 2021. And the results of that assessment by New England, I think it's New England Soundproofing, they're an expert in the area and well-respected company. They looked at what we had and they said, there's an outdoor range. There's ledge, obviously, as a backdrop. You're in an open space, and we can sell you a lot of different things. We can have sound absorption curtains installed that hang from the rafters. We can put more baffling in. We can plant trees. We can do all that, but it's going to be about $200,000. At the end of the day, we can't guarantee that it's going to have any significant impact. I don't think anybody wants to throw money away, $200,000. In an outdoor range, it's not going to have any impact. So that's already been done. We've planted tons of trees up there that has minimal impact. We've increased the height of the berm. We've installed baffling. We've done everything we physically could do to try to absorb the noise, but obviously we did the best we can in that regard. We also submitted a grant to the state for the COVID money to enclose the range. And the approximate cost to fully enclose the range would be anywhere from $3 to $5 million. Last I checked, the state's not going to give the city of Cranston $5 million. I don't think the city has the coffers to pay $5 million due to a handful of complaints from certain neighbors. And at the end of the day, it's just, would I take an indoor range? I would take an indoor range in a minute. The guys would love it. They would be warm. They wouldn't, have to deal with the elements. But bear in mind, an indoor range to maintain is about $150,000 a year in filtration because of the lead. So there's an ongoing cost that goes with it, even if we could find the $3 to $5 million that it would cost. And as you know, the Planning Commission was presented with a plan to study the feasibility to enclose the range. That would have been $100,000 to do that feasibility study. And that Planning Commission voted that down. So that never happens. And I want to say the most significant change that I've made from a policy standpoint was asking the Rhode Island Municipal Police Training Academy to leave our facility. For years and years, every police officer, with the exception of Providence State Police, when you were in the academy, you trained at the Cranston Police Department range, and they trained twice a year for a total of 20 days or 160 hours. And that's 120 recruits, and 240,000 rounds were fired on an annual basis. We threw them out of there because of the complaints. And now they're up at State Police Training Academy in Foster, and that's where they do the training. And that took effect April of 2024. So again, that's a huge reduction in the use of the range and the amount of time that it's being used. Also, we reduced the number of rounds that we use for annual pistol qualifications. We went down from 350 rounds down to 230 rounds. Now, that may not sound like a lot, but when you have 153 officers, that's a 50% qualification ratio that we have to meet by state law. So that was made to address the noise complaints. We also do our best to notify City Hall, the mayor's office, when the range is going to be in use. And, that's fluid. I mean, we can't get it down to the minute, but if there's going to be steady, constant shooting, we let City Hall know, and they post that information for the neighbors in that area, so they're aware of what's going on and they could plan accordingly. Again, this is our busy time of year, but we're about to wrap up for the season very soon. And there's been a lot of discussions about the schools and how we're in close proximity to the schools. I can tell you, I've spoken to the school superintendent. I've spoken to both principals of the schools in that area, and they have not received any complaints about the shooting that takes place. And there's nobody diving on the desk, like you heard. There's nobody hitting the floor. There's nobody that's mistaking our gunshots up at the range as an active shooter. It's simply not happening. And that's been alleged by the people making the complaints. And I can tell you that the principals and the superintendents have come out publicly and said they appreciate the fact the range is where it is, but God forbid, if there was an incident, there's officers up there on a daily basis that can respond and be there and probably save many, many lives by just having the staff and the people up at the range. So we should eliminate that argument because it's just not a valid argument that's been put out there. And then most recently, we purchased rifle suppressors. As people know, in the General Assembly, last legislative session, they signed into law, and it was actually supported by the Rhode Island Police Chiefs Association, which I'm a member of. I'm on the executive board. They passed a law that allows all law enforcement to use rifle suppressors or weapon suppressors. We ordered those suppressors. They're in full use. So all rifle fire at the range is now suppressed, and it's reduced the decibels down considerably. So we spent thousands of dollars on these suppressors. Unfortunately, you cannot suppress a pistol because it makes the weapon too long. You can't draw the weapon. You have to thread the barrels. It's just not simply possible to outfit our pistols with suppressors as well. So I want to mention, lastly, we've done a lot of our own sound meter testing. And I think some of the officers that are here took part in that testing. And I can tell you, we've done it on live TV. We've had reporters up there that recorded we had people shoot a rifle and a pistol at the range, and we went into the neighborhood where the complaints are coming from with a certified noise meter, and we were below the decibel levels set by the ordinance. So to say we're at 85 decibels, it's simply not true. And I want to also make a point to say that the range has been there, I mentioned, almost 75 years. We've been good neighbors. We've done the best we could. And we're at a point now, there's nothing more that we can do. And there was a suggestion that we pack up and we bring 153 officers up to the Providence Police Department range in Situate. I had a conversation with Colonel Perez today. They have 435 police officers, and they qualify twice a year by choice. And they also have some federal agencies and local agencies, and there's simply not room for 153 police officers to have to pack up and leave and go up to another town to do what we need to do to qualify with our weapons. So that's not on the table as far as I'm concerned either. So we reached everything we could do. I don't know what the answer is from here. Unfortunately, you have a handful of neighbors that think it's a war zone. I've heard that term used. And I honestly think it's not the noise that is upsetting these individuals. It's the police department in general. And it's also the fact we're shooting guns. Because I can tell you a weed whacker, a lawnmower, a plane flying overhead far exceeds the decibels that are coming from that range. If you live near a train station, an airport, do you shut the airport down? I mean, do you tell the trains you have to go a different route? It's just not possible. So I don't know what the answer is. Maybe the people that live in that neighborhood can look into landscaping on their properties. Maybe they can look at double pane windows. I don't know what the answer is, but at the end of the day, the police department has a mission. The mission is public safety. My job is to carry that out. My job is to make sure the officers are safe and the public's safe. And the only way we can do that is to carry out the training that takes place at our range that's been going on for 75 years. So I'm glad to answer any questions you have. I hopefully I covered most of it. I hope you received an education about what's going on up there. I welcome the council to come up and see, what we're doing up there, what type of training we're doing, to actually listen to the noise and see what the suppressors have done and how much it's reduced the noise that's up there. But at the end of the day, unfortunately, you can't satisfy everybody. And I know that as the police chief, I get complaints every day. Nobody's afraid to make a complaint, believe me. Because I've heard the police department is intimidating. That's why they don't get complaints. And the only complaint I ever received about the range is from that one person who makes the most noise. And I hate to say it, because someone makes the most noise doesn't mean they're right. And sometimes the no button is the hardest button to hit, but I hit it when I have to, and I'm hoping you'll listen to what you have to say and you'll support the police department. I know there's some other officers here that work up at the range, have done the actual sound testing, and they'd like to speak and talk to you about that as well. But if there's any questions, I'd be glad to answer them. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Is there anyone else in the chamber that would like to come up and speak during public comment? Please note for the record, Councilman Graziano, thank you for being here. We know you have to leave early. Please state your name and badge number or whatever.
Sure. My name is Lieutenant Joshua Digon, badge number 422. I am currently in charge of our training division at the range. I just want to at least introduce myself to members of the council to let you know what steps we have taken. I know Colonel had covered most of the steps we've taken, but I did want to at least give you some of the readings, the noise meter readings that we have compiled in the past. Back in 2022, Lieutenant Shore, who's also here in the audience, conducted a noise meter reading using both pistol as well as rifle. At the time, we did not have suppressed rifles. The outside ambient noise that he took a decibel reading of was approximately 45.8 decibels. Using a volley of pistol rounds, the maximum decibel rating he received was 46.6. That was only an increase of approximately 1 decibel above what the ambient noise was. This testing was done at the intersection of Laconia and Preston Ave. He then went to Midland Drive and Scotland Road and did another noise meter test at that point. The ambient noise was approximately 46.6 decibels. After pistol fire, it was approximately 51.4 decibels. After rifle fire at that location, the decibel level was 53.8 decibels. Again, that was only during the brief burst of rifle fire. It wasn't continuous. That was back in 2022, September of 22. This past May, I also conducted my own testing up there as well, using a calibrated noise meter. At the training complex, at the entrance to the training complex, which is obviously much closer than the neighborhoods, using pistol fire. I'm sorry, this is at the range itself. 87.8 decibels for pistol. For an unsuppressed rifle is 90 decibels, and for a suppressed rifle it was 72 decibels. I then went into the parking lot at Cranston West High School, into the employee parking lot. The pistol decibel level during fire dropped down from 87.8 down to 59.2. The unsuppressed rifle fire was 60 decibels, which was very comparable to what the pistol fire was, and the suppressed rifle fire was 48 decibels. I then went over to the intersection of Laconia and Carpathia, and pistol was undetectable. I could not hear it. I was on the phone with the range officers at the time, asked them to fire. I could hear it firing on my phone. I could not hear it ambient noise at all. Unsuppressed rifle fire was 47.5 decibels at that location, and suppressed rifle fire was undetectable. I want to also note that the average ambient noise, just everyday traffic, everyday wildlife, whatever you might want to hear outside, was between 44 and 47 decibels. So my whole point in bringing that up is suppressed rifle fire, both at Cranston West and Laconia, was on the upper range of the ambient noise. These readings, like I said, were conducted. There was also video that we had taken of the readings as well. And talking to the range officer on the phone, it was louder than what was being heard in the background. I do want to stress that the range is vital importance to the department and their training. We probably have some of the best trained officers in the state, and that's due to the staff that helps me out at the training range. And the amount of training that we actually conduct there is head and shoulders above most other departments, because we do have the facility, which is a huge benefit over most other agencies. I know the colonel had mentioned that we do have other agencies that do come and use the range, and I get to see what their level of training is. And this is not a knock on any other agency, but they have limited amounts of time to get their officers trained using a range elsewhere. And when I compare that to the level of training that we are able to give our officers, it's not even a comparison. Anyone have any questions that they need?
We're in public comment, so we're good.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the chambers that would like to speak on docketed items only? Any police officers? I guess we'll give the mic to our state representative. Please state your name and address.
Good evening, everyone. How you doing? Chris Peplowskis, 14 Highland Street in Cranston. Chairman Andrew Har, Council President, Council Vice President, thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm going to take my state representative hat off for a minute and just speak as a resident of Mechanicat. Most of us, except for maybe a few, in Mechanicat appreciate the police firing range and the training facility being in our community and in our neighborhood. You know, I talked with my son before coming here. He's student council president for the seniors at Cranston West. And I asked him if the firing range caused any issues that he knows of or is bothering them in class. He said, no, Dad, I'm really happy the police are across the street. So I've heard it countless time and time again from the neighbors in Mashanicket and outside of Mashanicket that they are appreciative that the police are there. It's something that I heard for 10 years serving on the city council. And Colonel Winquist, you have been extremely supportive of the neighborhoods, responsive. You've planted trees, you've done all the mitigation that you did over the last decade, honestly, since you came in and took over the police department. You will hear gunfire even with planting more trees. There's nothing you can do. Even with sound barriers, we discussed baffles probably 3 or 4 years ago, tried to get that grant from the state. It's not going to matter unless we close it in. And right now, we have to go through the planning commission. The planning commission has said no. And that's how it's going to be. But as a resident of Mashanicket and someone that hears you when you do practice, I don't close my windows. I leave them open. I'm thankful that you're doing your thing. And as a city, the council included, the administration, we're obligated to make sure our officers are trained and that are on the street and know what they need to do. And if we're changing that because we have to make changes to the training facility, we're doing a disservice to our employees. So that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the chambers that would like to speak on docketed items only? Ms. Renzulli.
Thank you. Nicole Renzulli, 54 Massachusetts Street, Cranston. I just want to say I can appreciate the intent of the resolution. I know that Mayor Trafficante has received probably the same calls that I received for 4 years, and Councilman Paplaskas, and probably most of you have received. And it is our job to respond to our constituents. But the health, wellness, and safety of all of our constituents takes precedent over a few. And I can say, as someone who has run at the Cranston West track for 25 years and coached there for the last 10, we hear the gunfire, and no child has ever said to me that they thought it was an active shooter. No one has ever hit the deck in fear. And I would say that Coach Vaziri, Councilwoman Vaziri, could probably say the same thing. So beyond that, I think that the colonel and the department has taken a lot of effort to reduce the sound there. And we don't have the money to enclose the range. And when we bring forth some kind of resolution that has a fiscal impact on the city, I know we're not in the finance committee right now, and I know you're not obligated to have a fiscal note for resolutions, just ordinances. It might be sound practice to know how much something like a sound mitigation expert or a landscape architect would cost before making demands on the administration to get them, especially when these things have already been procured by the police department. So I would say that I would be very much against this, while I do appreciate the intent of it. And otherwise, I would also like to say I would speak in favor of the housing court and the bipartisan effort, which is also on this agenda, to try and give code enforcement some more power and bring in financially more money through the housing court as well. Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the chambers that would like to speak? I think there's somebody outside. No, you could go, Mr. Murray.
Thank you very much, Robert Murray. 2 different items. Just bear with me. First, on your agenda tonight, you have ordinance 8-2502 relating to the notice for the rat eradication or whatever. I didn't have a chance to really look at this the last time when it was here in September, and I just bear with me. I understand the intent of the sponsors, and I'm not your legal counsel. You have plenty available to you, and maybe more tonight. When I look at section 8.36 of the city code entitled rodent control, there are definitions for rat eradication, rat proofing. They all talk about within buildings, okay? And I know this ordinance arose from the Garden City experience and things like that. Just from my view, reviewing this, I think I want to say to you that you use the term rat-proof condition and rat eradication in your amendments to 836-050. When you read the whole chapter, it's really talking about rat-proofing buildings. So I just bring that to your attention. I'm not saying don't pass the ordinance, but there may need to be a more global look at that whole chapter to make certain that when you use the term premises, you mean the outside of the building, because I think the intent of this ordinance is probably many years ago. I didn't realize, when you build a building, one of the requirements is it has to be rat-proof. But that goes back probably 50 years. So all I'm saying with respect to that ordinance is you may want to take a bigger look at it just to make certain that, because if you try and cite somebody for a condition on the outside under this ordinance, if I was defending them, I might say, well, that ordinance talks about buildings, and my building is rat-proof, as opposed to holes in the lawn. So I just bring that to your attention for consideration. The second issue I'd like to just revisit, and not at great length, is the housing court. With all due respect to former Councilwoman Renzulli, I don't support it. I didn't support it in September. You were nice enough to accept into the record a letter from me dated September 9th. I'm not going to go back over that letter. I'd like to share with you some additional information that I now have that I didn't have that evening. First, you now have the benefit of a fiscal note from the finance director. And I'm not being critical, but the requirement of fiscal note in our charters under section 3.04.030 entitled fiscal notes. In what was posted online is a fiscal note citing section 6.17 entitled additional appropriations. Okay, that section is one that requires the mayor to support an additional appropriation through ordinance, and only the mayor can do it. And the finance director has to say that there are unencumbered funds available within the budget for the additional appropriation. So I don't want to go over form over substance. He cited a section of the charter which doesn't apply to fiscal notes. So I don't want this, in my opinion, should not be interpreted that somehow, because I think if you adopt a housing court, your next step would have to be to introduce additional appropriation ordinance that meets the requirements of the city charter. All you're doing, if this ordinance passes, is create the court. You're not appropriating any money for it. The fiscal note says what his estimate is through the end of the year. And I know the chairman has a discussion point about this, but he only cited in the fiscal note the costs of the $32,000 for part-time help, municipal court part-time help, office supplies, and department inspector part-time help. There is no money allocated for the judges because the ordinance says the judges will start getting paid July 1, 2026 in the next fiscal year 27. I don't know whether the intention is to appoint judges before that, and whether that they're going to work for nothing is between you and them. But so the real cost of this housing court, I don't think is really fully displayed here, and you should just be cognizant of that. The last point I want to make, and with your permission, I'd like to just pass out a handout for consideration of the council. Part of my objection to this ordinance.
Solicitor, how do we do this in public comment except, Solicitor, we're in public comment, so how do I accept this notification into the record?
Ask for a motion to accept.
May I entertain a motion to accept this letter into the record, please?
So moved. Yeah, motion
Second.
to.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any nays? Ayes have it.
Thank you. It was not necessarily my intention that be introduced because I know I didn't comply with the rule, getting you 48 hours ahead and all that stuff. So, but I appreciate the fact. All I'm trying to demonstrate in this cheat sheet here is, as I read this ordinance tonight, we are retaining 7 judges in the municipal court and creating a housing court with 6 more judges, which would bring us to a total of 13 part-time judges. I did a survey of surrounding communities, Providence, Warwick, Pawtucket, East Providence. And you can, only Providence they have 3 housing court judges. I know Councilman Andrew Har is familiar with the Providence experience. Most communities our size, and I have the households listed, we're going to have 13 judges in total. As a taxpayer, I'm troubled by that. I don't think the court's necessary. I think we have a municipal court. If we give the inspection department more support, they could do more processing of minimum housing complaints. The other issues I raised in my September letter still stand. When we left here in September, my understanding, and I went and looked at the YouTube again today, Councilman Bonanno said it's being continued first because Chief Judge Coyer couldn't be here that evening, and you wanted to give him opportunity to be heard. And the second point Councilman Bonanno made was the sponsors want to look at I'm paraphrasing, some refinements in the ordinance. As I understand it, what's before you this evening is the same ordinance that was here in September. If there's a new alliteration of that, I haven't seen it, and I'll stand corrected. So those are my thoughts. I appreciate the effort that people have put into this. I don't think it's the right idea for Cranston. It's not the right time fiscally as a taxpayer, and we really should hit the pause button on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak on docketed items only? Seeing none. Clerk, is there
Chair.
anyone online?
Chair, is it possible to,
Mr. Director, please.
thank you for the second time. The first opportunity I took was to introduce the police officers here today. Reverting back to the gun range and representing the mayor. The mayor is opposed to this in the sense that we feel it's redundant. As the colonel and the lieutenant have expressed that the request, if you will, regarding the resolution has been done in the past. It's been shared now openly, and I don't think this is necessary. The information is there. Any further details you want? We don't see a need to incur expenses to hire experts and consultants, which could run tens of thousands of dollars, and we do not have a budget for this. So with that, we feel that it's not necessary, but we'd be happy to share any past efforts that have been made and input that has been given we could save the city money and not to distract and put energy into something that we're going to end up where we are today relative to the knowledge that we have about mitigation efforts there. So, and I'm sure it'll be a 9-0 here. The mayor stands firmly, has stand firmly, and will stand firmly with the Cranston Police Department. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Anyone else in the audience would like to speak on docketed items only? Seeing none. Clerk, is there anyone online?
Dominic Fusco.
Please state your name and address.
Thank you. Dominic Fusco, 167 Fiat Avenue. I'm also school committee representing Ward 3. I am here tonight to speak in favor of 925-2. Full disclosure, many of you know my wife is a crossing guard in Cranston, and her and I, I've gotten to know many crossing guards through her, and her and I have approached Councilman Andujar and Councilman Bonanno regarding this request. The problem is at the corner of Gansett and Cranston Street. It's when you're coming northbound on Cranston Street toward Gansett. So you have to turn right to stay on Cranston. Problem being is that when the crossing guard is trying to cross the children there, people don't stop because they know there's really nothing coming through from the side street next to Basil Pizza. And they're just not paying attention. It's It's a safety concern. I know there's a small sign there that says yield to pedestrians and crosswalk, but people ignore that. So I thank you both for bringing this ordinance forward per our request. And I'd just like to say that I hope this passes. And I think the colonel's still there. So if it does pass, I hope that we can have a little bit of a police presence as well, just to enforce it, to send the message. So we have to watch out for our children as they cross. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else online?
There is no other comment online.
At this time, I'm going to close public comment. Moving on to item 6, new matters before the committee. Ordinance 925-01, ordinance and amendment of Title 10, Chapter 32, Section 600 of the City of Cranston Code of Ordinances, 2005, entitled 2-hour parking between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Saturdays and Sunday. Sponsored by our Councilwoman Graziano, who had to leave, and Councilman Campopiano. Councilman, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Chairman. You did a good job that time. Yeah, Councilwoman Graziano and myself were approached by some of the residents on Woodbury Road with concerns with the parking situations and the safety concerns with safety vehicles couldn't get through at certain portions of the time. And we came up with this ordinance, and we feel this will help, and hope we get the support tonight. That's all I got. Thank you.
May I entertain a motion to approve?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Any discussion? Councilman Trafficani.
Councilman, we're referring to the municipal court, am I correct?
No, we're on new matters of the committee, Councilman.
I'm in the wrong ordinance. I'm sorry.
All right, so we have a second. Any discussion? Clerk, may you please call the roll?
Council Vice President Haroyan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Nazari,
Yes.
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Yes.
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to ordinance 925-02, ordinance and amendment of Title 10, Chapter 12, Section 130 of the City of Cranston Code of Ordinances 2005, entitled Right Turns at Certain Red Lights.
So moved.
Sponsored by Councilman Bonanno and myself. May I entertain a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I just wanted to, I think, actually, School Committee Chair Fusco summed it up very nicely. I also just wanted to mention that, in addition to everything he said, which is what I was going to say, so I thank him for that. There was a very substantial accident not too far down the road of kids crossing Cranston Street to get to Bain School not too long ago. So, this is an area, when I was a youngster, I'd like to think not too long ago, but my hairline says different. I walked that way from Laurel Avenue to Bain, and it was a problem then. I also will mention, and I believe Tom has it to put up if needed, but I did consult with the traffic engineer, and he essentially signed off on it through an email. It said, "This is fine with me," and this email serves in lieu of a traffic study. He said there's plenty of room for the cars to stack while waiting for the light to turn green for them to go. I will also note this is only a right turn on red. It's not no right turn altogether, because I believe there was some confusion, and it is also only slotted for hours when there'll be a crossing guard present or children, students will be walking to and from school. So, thank you.
Any further discussion? Councilman Campopiano.
Yeah, you get better at. Thank you. Well, when it comes to children's safety, that's number one. So my only concern was, well, first of all, I think there was a no right turn on red there at one time, and it was removed. But my memory could not, maybe it's faulty, I don't know. But my only concern was, if I've never seen a right turn on red with limitations. I never seen one with a time on it. I may be wrong, but I just want to make sure there would be no confusion that you can do it now and you can't do it other times. I guess the traffic safety officer, engineer would be the one to answer that question, but that's, other than that, I'll be in full support of it.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
If I may, through the chair,
Please.
to be honest, my intention was to limit the impact on traffic. So that's why the hours are there. If the council sees fit, I, as the sponsor, would have no problem with it being no turn on red, period. I don't know if that's an amendment somebody wants to make or not, but, you know, just a couple, I agree with you. I think, you know, it could get confusing, but I hope that the motorists will say no turn on red. And even if they're there at 5:30 in the morning, they're not going to turn on red, you know? But that's all. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Well, I'd like to first thank Dominic Fusco for bringing this attention and for his service to the school board, especially to all the crossing guards in the city. I myself did witness for a week there, and I think a lot of people need driver's ed. Hopefully, the Cranston Police Department could send somebody there in the mornings. There were a lot of people that didn't even stop. They would just turn on red. And, you know, we need to watch out for the kids, especially the safety of the kids. So hopefully the police officers that are here could note that. But with that being said, if there's no further discussion, clerk, please take a roll.
Council Vice President Royan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Vaziri?
Yes.
Councilman Campiano?
Yes.
Councilman Banano?
Yes.
Councilman Andujar?
Yes.
Council President Wall?
Yes.
Thank you. Next up is 925-03, ordinance and amendment of Title 10, Chapter 32, Section 40 of the City of Cranston Code of Ordinances, 2005, entitled No Parking on Certain Streets Generally, sponsored by Councilman Banano and Council President Wall. Council President, the floor is yours.
Actually, I'm going to defer to Council Banano because he did.
It's his
most of
show
the
right now,
legwork
yeah.
on this.
Thank you, Council President. For the purposes of my comments that I'm going to make have to do with 925-03, 04, and 05. So that doesn't mean, Councilman Campiano, I'm going to talk 3 times as long. It just means that that I'm going to summarize all these at once. I live very, very close to this area. And since I've lived there going on 9 years now, gotten to know many of the neighbors. And when I got elected, some of the neighbors came to me, especially the ones on Poppy Drive, complaining that cars of residents of Garden City apartments are permanently parking, in other words, 24/7 essentially when they are home in these areas. And they are given ample parking. There's an allotment of parking spots per apartment. And I don't think it's fair, you know, for the residents to have to, and additionally for the police to come out and repeatedly ticket something as minuscule as overnight parking constantly. I know that overnight parking tickets are a pain in the neck because the officer has to go by twice. And a lot of times at those times during the evening or night, there's a lot more pressing things to be paying attention to than overnight parking. I will also say, Tom, would you mind putting the picture up that I had sent? This is a picture from a resident's house at the areas that I'm talking about. This picture was taken very early in the morning. And you can see a car cover on a vehicle parked in the street. So if that's not indicative of, I'm not moving my car for a very long time, I'm not quite sure what is. There are people doing motor vehicle repairs in the middle of the street. There's a Mercury Grand Marquis that's constantly jacked up, hood open. And there are 2 sequential license plates that are constantly parked on the street, which leads me to believe that's the same apartment that seems to be the culprit. The neighbors all along this road and all along the road both ways on Poppy have complained. They all have, well, some of them have small young children, and they're concerned that as people come around the corner from Garden City Drive onto Poppy, especially that, you know, their children, again, you know, playing in the street in a residential neighborhood might not be as safe as they should be. One final thing, when cars are parked on both sides of the road, it would inhibit an emergency vehicle coming down the middle of that street in many ways, especially if they're trying to make the curb. If you notice on 92504 and 92505. One of those has to do with 1 hour parking on the weekend only. And that is simply to allow for parking for people attending mass at St. Mark's Church. Many times during the holidays, or frankly, larger activities at the church, there's not ample parking except for the street. So this allows for Saturday and Sunday, whether you're attending mass on Saturday evening or Sunday at St. Mark's Church. It allows for 1 hour parking on hybrid. I think I've tried to address all the concerns of the neighbors. And that ends my comments. Thank you.
Okay, any further discussion on ordinance 925-03? Councilman President?
So I was wise to defer my time to Councilman Bonanno. He said it quite thoroughly, but also concisely. I had the occasion just last week, and Councilman Bonanno knows a better weekend than we had just previously, to actually walk on these very streets. And it was consistent a year ago when you first got on, we started talking about it, and it's consistent now, especially with that fact that people are concerned, on Poppy especially, where people are coming around the streets and there are cars parked there 24/7. So I appreciate the work that Councilman Bonanno has done. Obviously, as a sponsor, I'm going to be in full support of it.
Councilman Campopiano.
Thank you, Chairman. I will be in support of this, but I do have one question. Is this going to impact people getting visitors at their home, or nurses or something that have to come in? Where would they park to visit these people, or what they need to do?
There's, the Garden City residence has, to my knowledge, they do have visitor parking. And in many of these cases, for instance, especially on Poppy, there will be some parking across the street for somebody that's going to be parking there temporarily.
Thank you.
Any further discussion on ordinance 25-03, 925-03? Seeing none, clerk, please take a roll.
I don't believe we have a motion in a second.
Motion to approve then.
Second.
I think we
Yeah,
did.
because we were in discussion, yeah. Any further discussion? Seeing none, clerk, please take a roll.
Council Vice President Horoyan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Baziri,
Yes.
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Bonanno,
Yes.
Councilman Andujar.
Yes,
Council President Wall.
Yes.
you're right, Madam Clerk, you were right. Sorry about that. We're moving on. Ordinance 925-04, ordinance and amendment of Title 10, Chapter 32, Section 40 of the City of Cranston Code of Ordinances, 2005, entitled No Parking on Certain Streets Generally. Councilman Bonanno, do you want to give a quick?
Everything I just said.
Okay, thank you. May I entertain a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, clerk, please take a roll.
Council Vice President Horoyan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Baziri,
Yes.
Councilman Campiano.
Yes.
Councilman Bonanno,
Yes.
Councilman Andujar.
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to ordinance 925-05, ordinance and amendment of Title 10, Chapter 32, Section 500 of the Cranston Code of Ordinances, 2005, entitled 1 Hour Parking Generally. Councilman Bonanno?
I have nothing further to add except what I said in the previous two ordinances. Thank you.
Thank you. May I
Motion to
entertain a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, clerk, please take a roll.
Council Vice President Horoyan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Baziri,
Yes.
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Bonanno.
Yes.
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
Thank you. I want to thank the police officers that are here. I did that on purpose so you guys could take notes and realize what we face. So moving on, I'm gonna now go to this resolution, Cranston Police Department Gun Range. I believe Councilman Traffic Canty has something to say on this.
Members of the council, unfortunately, I intentionally told the neighbors not to show up at this particular meeting because I was going to withdraw the resolution. I informed the council president of that. I informed Councilman Andujar of that. It's unfortunately, they would have appreciated it and probably would have helped me if they had heard the comments being made tonight by the chief, by Mr. Moretti, and a few other individuals. As you know, I inherited this problem. It had started about 5 years ago when it initially started. So unfortunately, we lost that opportunity in the past several years before the City Plan Commission, when this could have been resolved. I made a promise that I would meet. In fact, I withdrew. If you remember, I withdrew the ordinance. And I said that I would intentionally meet with the chief. And at that time, when I did meet with the chief, I was also accompanied by the mayor, Mr. Moretti, the city solicitor, and the major. So perhaps Mr. Moretti had intentions of trying to intimidate me. It didn't work. I met with the chief, and we exchanged some good ideas, and I promised him that I would meet with a few of the neighbors and with the major, and I did exactly that. We met, in fact, in the council chambers a few weeks ago. Some of the exchange was positive. Some of the exchange was very heated. Did I accomplish what I intended to do? Perhaps not. And that's when I said I would basically place the ordinance in the November council meeting to discuss it further. Now, unfortunately, the testimony given tonight would have to be repeated again, I assume, when the ordinance comes before this body. It's really unfortunate. I want you to know that I'm not trying to do away with the gun range. That's not my intention at all. In fact, when I was mayor of the city of Cranston, we expanded on the gun range. So I have no intention of doing away with it. I'm just trying to find a happy medium that the neighbors could live within the gun range, and with, of course, with the cooperation of the chief and the police department. Hopefully, when the ordinance is resubmitted, that we can accomplish that goal. But I'm a little upset tonight that I did not know this testimony was going to be given, because Mr. Moretti didn't see fit to tell me. I would have had the neighbors here. It would have benefited all of us. So, Mr. Chairman, I am going to withdraw the resolution.
Motion to withdraw is accepted. I do want to apologize, Councilman Trafficante, Mayor Trafficante. I wanted to let the police officers, the fine men and women of this department actually speak. So that's why I moved it out of order. Councilman Bonanno, do you have something to say on this withdrawal?
I suppose, do we have to vote on the withdrawal? No. Okay. I mean, I had some things to say. I don't know if they're appropriate. Are they appropriate to say? I'm sorry, Anthony, Director Moretti. Are they appropriate? Is it still appropriate to comment, Attorney Videcchia? Since there's no motion on the floor or anything, I want to talk about the resolution.
I would say no, because it has been withdrawn. He left the room. I think that ends it.
Okay, that motion.
All right, well, thank you.
Okay, that motion is withdrawn. Now,
No, Chair, I have to say this. My name came up in vain this evening. I think I should have the opportunity to speak.
so moved, please.
I take it as a compliment, perhaps. It's never been said. First time in my life I've ever attempted to intimidate someone. I can tell you, Councilman Mayor Trafficante is someone you don't intimidate. I think he doesn't intimidate easily. So I think I'd be foolish to attempt to intimidate Councilman Trafficante. I have no clue, no justification where that comment came from. The only thing we can think of is the councilman requested a meeting to meet with the police department to discuss this issue. And the mayor was very concerned. I was very, well, per the instruction of the mayor, we met, the mayor, myself, the police chief, and other command staff with the councilman to discuss this issue. And to basically say, frankly, we opposed what it was, being very straightforward about this resolution, to say we oppose it for the reasons I mentioned today. Nothing more, nothing less. But to impinge upon my character, to say I'm trying to intimidate anyone, that's the first time that's ever been said. I want you to know that. And it's baseless. He made another reference later on, and frankly, because I'm so upset now, I forgot it was referenced. So he's got a vendetta against me for whatever reason it might be. Perhaps he was, unsuccessful in this. And I did not organize these gentlemen, if you will. The police department stands on their own, and I don't think you tell any of these members of this department, nor Colonel Winquist, to follow what Moretti has to say. I trust their integrity is above whatever I can tell them in terms of trying to do any personal favors of intimidation. So I don't think it's very truthful what came out of that mouth a little while ago. Thank you.
Okay. Now that
May I
motion was,
ask-
what are we talking about here?
Through the chair, the solicitor, please. This afternoon, every council member received a letter from a constituent in regard to this. It has been withdrawn, but can we make a motion to receive and to put into a record, or should I do it through councilperson communication, read the letter from the constituent that resides on 5 Lanconia Road?
I mean, you're the legal counsel, so it'd be better for you to stay, but.
So, just so I understand the query, so you want to know whether or not to make it part of the record at this point in time, whether to submit it? I would say, since it's been withdrawn, I would say no. I mean, there'll be a time and a place. My understanding is that it's this ordinance or resolution will be reintroduced by Councilman Trafficante at some point. I think that would be the more appropriate time.
All right, moving on. Let's go to committee business matters carried over. Ordinance 8/2501, ordinance and amendment of Title II, Chapter 40 of the City of Cranston Code of Ordinances 2005 entitled Municipal Court, sponsored by myself, Councilwoman Graziano, and Councilman Bonanno. So basically, to make this, because I know it's a long night, we came up with this idea to give our housing court more teeth. As we know, and before I do anything, I would like to add Councilman Trafficante as a sponsor. Mr. Videcchia, how do we do this? Do I have to make a motion to add somebody for a sponsor? Or can we just, okay.
It's not a formal motion.
Madam
it's just a
Clerk,
request.
Madam Clerk, can you please add Councilman Trafficante to this ordinance, please, as a sponsor? So that's noted. So the housing court was basically, we came up with the idea to give the city more teeth. As you all know, during the budget season, the housing court has not generated any revenue. The animal control has generated more revenue than the housing court in the last 2 years. So it's a pilot program. It's something that we're going to test. The judges are going to receive $1. They're basically here volunteer on a voluntary basis. We have some inspectors to give our code enforcement inspectors more help. It's part-time. I spoke to the union. The union's fine with it. We're going to have a part-time clerk, just like we're going to have a solicitor on board. So I have full faith in our finance director, where the money's coming from. He did give us a note. I know there was some verbiage and some letters around that we messed up somewhere, but I have full faith in our system. So that's basically it. It's a pilot program. We're gonna deal with it again back when it comes budget time. If it doesn't raise any money, I'll be the first one to put a withdrawal for this ordinance. So with that being said, Councilman Bonanno, would you like to say anything?
If I repeat something that you said, I apologize. I was asking the police chief a short question. I did speak to Chief Judge Koya today and in the past about this particular resolution, about this particular ordinance, I should say. And at first, he did have some concerns, but he had met with several council members, including myself. And I think we've alleviated those concerns of his, because his quote to me today was, "I'm cool with it. We're going to make it work, should it pass." And that's a direct quotation. I think one of the biggest concerns that he had was that, this is not a separate court. This is essentially a division. You didn't say this, did you? This is essentially a division of the municipal court that is going to specifically deal with the housing portion. It's going to add some gravitas to the inspections process, and it's going to give, it's going to speed up the process as well. Ultimately, our goal here, which is why I signed on to it, is to keep Cranston the beautiful city that it is and keep it, and even improve it. And a lot of times, just that notice is good enough to get people to improve some of their property. And I think that we have something to back that notice up now is going to be even better for the city. We're not trying to, we're not trying to make it difficult for people. We're trying to sort of reward the people who live around some distressed properties so that distressed property is no longer distressed in the neighborhood. I don't know, I know during public comment, the Attorney Murray brought up a couple of those concerns. I wanted to answer a couple of those concerns. Those are the two big changes, and we did speak to, many of us spoke to Chief Judge Koya, and like I said, he has indicated that he is quote unquote cool with it and is going to make it work. Thank you.
Thank you. Would Mayor, Councilman Trafficante, as a sponsor, would you like to say anything on this?
Councilman, I couldn't be happier that we're establishing this court. And you and I, and along with the council president, had an opportunity to visit a few of the abandoned houses in Ward 5. One has been abandoned for 7 years. 7 years. That's a disgrace. That's a reflect well on our city, that we don't have a building inspection office that cites things like this. We also found another house with 15 years abandoned, 15 years, where the owner has not lived in the house. You can imagine what the interior looks like with rodents and what have you. So I am totally supportive of this court.
Thank you. May I entertain a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Councilman Campobello.
Thank you, Chairman. I do have some concerns. First of all, one of my concerns is that this is being done on one night. It's, we're entertaining it here in ordinance and then going to full council to approve it. It was not giving us much time to digest this. The other thing is being on the council for 4 years, or 4+ years now, I know one thing. If there's 2 lawyers in the room, one's gonna argue the walls are white, the other one's gonna argue the walls are black. And they're both gonna argue until they're blue in the face, it's true. And then when the third lawyer comes in, you're gonna say, what a lovely shade of pink. So I did contact 3 lawyers and I got 3 different opinions. And right now, we don't have a council attorney. And I would have liked to wait to have a council attorney to discuss this, to feel better about this, understand it better. And I'm looking forward to our council attorney for a bright new future for us, and especially myself. I'm looking forward to working with him. So I have nothing against the court. I do see problems with inspections. We're already challenging with inspections throughout the city. I think everyone here will say that's probably one of our weakest departments, and to add this burden to them. And then we have a rat ordinance that's coming in later on that's going to add more burden to that department. I think we need to address that department. So I have nothing against the ordinance or the court itself. I just would like to see it tap the brakes a little bit, maybe postpone it to next month where we can discuss this with the new attorney and understand a little bit more about it, maybe polish it a little bit better instead of just rushing into it. Those are my concerns, and I can't support it unless we put this off a little bit. Thank you.
Any further discussion?
Chair.
Council President.
First, I know it seems this evening because we're doing it all together, and I have spoke to Councilman Campopiano about it. And I listen, I understand your concerns. I also know, especially Councilman Andujar he's been advocating for this type of court for probably almost as long as he's been on the council. So I appreciate the efforts of the people who sponsored it. I think Councilman Trafficante, myself, Councilman Andujar, and numerous other members of the council have seen houses that are broken down, holes, rat holes, all kinds of disrepair. And we say, the neighbors around that say, when are you going to do something about it? And today, and I know it seems like it's rushed, but I think today maybe we do have to kind of head down that path and do something. And if this, and I see the financial note in it, if this is on a trial basis and we take care of it, and even if it fulfills half of what we're asking for, it would be at least half a step in the direction to doing something we've been saying we wanted to do for a long time. So as much as I've heard the councilman's concerns, and I get it, I personally don't see a problem going forward with it. That would be my own opinion. Looking at my only question, I see Financial Director Zadelis is no, these, I would ask the sponsors, these are the only costs that we're gonna have. And it would look like those costs are already in the budget right now, and I don't know if perhaps the auditor would answer that question. That would be my only question, and if that's it, I think I feel comfortable moving forward.
Based what's here on the fiscal note, I'll make an assumption that these are going to be fines that are going to be received up to $32,000. They're going to court that are going to offset the expenditures. So just as a side note, we don't know what the fines are going to be. So that's the only concern. So basically, this is just 32,000 increase in revenue to the municipal court from housing side, which would be fines, no different than the traffic court fines, and the expenditures are offsetting that. So I don't know if there's a table of what's being fined, what the fines cost, what they are, how they're being assessed, and how they're being collected. So from a standard fiscal side, that would be the only question I would have.
Any further discussion? Councilwoman Haroy.
I'll be voting in full support of this tonight. Thank you for taking all the time. I know this idea was your campaign running on. You started talking to people in last February discussing this. It's a trial, it's a pilot program. Yes, it's a lot of judges, but you wanted to make sure you had the staff. Am I correct to understand we will have an inspection person working under the court, so it won't be extra caseload on the inspections that's already established?
Yes, if you read the ordinance, there are 4 part-time inspectors.
Thank you very much. Also, would it be possible for the part-time clerk to give us maybe an update every 6 months of how many cases came before them, how many violations have been given out, and the financial impact it's done? And so we can know that this is working and it's revenue for the city.
Yes, I believe if it passes, there will be monthly reports. The only reason why, I wanted, and I've basically solicited for this thing to come now is because we still have another month to prepare and set this up. So we're coming in April for budget season, and by then we have to see what's coming in, because if nothing's coming in and we're setting up in March, then we're not completing anything.
Thank you. I know you worked closely with other cities and towns, and the revenue did cover the staff that it employed. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
And if you would allow, I'd like to be a co-sponsor on this also.
Madam Clerk, if you could add that. Councilman Banano.
I just, as we all know here, I'm sort of preaching to the choir, but for the public and posterity, because this is recorded, as council people, it is our job to deal with complaints and concerns of constituents. This is up there for sure. If not the top complaint, it's in the top 3. So-and-so's grass isn't cut. What are you doing about that house down the street? We live in such a beautiful neighborhood and this one property is extremely distressed. How many times, as I see, Attorney Millay behind me, we were talking about the property of the folks who may or may not have had a reverse mortgage at an address, and the leaves are too close to the chimney and all of these things. This is going to alleviate us talking about that. This is going to enable there to be a sort of an automatic mechanism. And as a council person, whatever the procedure will be as far as reporting it to the inspectors, it's going to be easier for us to work for our constituents. This is for our constituents who come to us and have concerns about some of the properties. And like I said earlier in the meeting, there's going to be some stuff that indirectly and directly relates to rodents coming up soon. This is going to also enable us to have more tools to alleviate that rodent problem that many, many are concerned about. So I'm in support of this. Do I think it's perfect? No. But this is why it's on a pilot basis. We can come back to it we can amend it as needed, and we can adjust it, and we can reevaluate it, but we're not gonna know how to do that unless we try and we get it moving. And, you know, it might seem like a while away, but as Councilman Chairman Andahar alluded to, budget season is gonna be here before we know it. And we gotta have some empirical data to look at before we get to that point. So, I'm in favor of this tonight. I'm also, you know, I agree with my colleague, Councilman Campiano, that, you know, maybe it isn't perfect, but, you know, for fear of failing, I'm not gonna avoid trying, you know, so my vote will be in the affirmative. Thank you.
Director Moretti.
Thank you, Chair. Two things. One, I just want to make sure we convey that the mayor's been through this. He certainly supports the spirit of it, leaving, I'll say, the details, you know, to the council to work it out. But the council, pardon me, but the mayor does support this effort for a housing court. Just want to pass that along in your deliberations. And the other thing is, to the councilman, we actually do have a council attorney under the charter. The solicitor's department is the council attorney. So if you wanted their resources, they have this evening. So you shouldn't feel you don't have a council attorney. I believe, if I have it correct, our city solicitors are the council attorneys. So if you wish to call upon them. And lastly, I think maybe they could address that budget consideration if something might be necessary. I'll defer to the attorneys on that.
Thank you. Councilman Campopiano.
Thank you. Well, let me get it straight. I'm not against the spirit of it. I'm not against, I mean, I understand houses have been abandoned for 10 years. This is not a magic wand. They're not going to disappear all of a sudden. I just feel that it could have been a little bit more thought out and a little bit more information. I mean, if it's gone for 10 years, then is the bank on it? Are we finding the bank? Are we finding I mean, there's going to be liens? Are the mechanic liens? Is Joe the roofer going to get penalized now because we're taking this house over and he don't get paid? There's a lot of things that, and I did consult with the council attorney, to Director Moretti's point, and that's where I alluded to in my first comments. I contacted 3 different lawyers and I got 3 different opinions. I guess I needed a 4th opinion because I wasn't satisfied with what was going on. I just was hoping that we went out this for as long as the Cranstons have been in around, and now all of a sudden we got to do this right now. That's my point. I mean, I don't think a month would have made that big of a difference, and I think I would have felt better knowing that all the T's were crossed and the I's were dotted. That's it.
Any further discussion? Clerk, please take a roll.
Council Vice President Horoyan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Baziri,
Yes.
Councilman Campiano,
No.
Councilman Banano,
Yes.
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
I'll say yes, even though I don't have a vote in this particular committee.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay, that motion carries. Moving on. 25-02, ordinance and amendment of Title 8, Chapter 8.36, Section 50 of the City of Cranston Code of Ordinance 2005, entitled Duty of Owner Upon Receipt of Notice, sponsored by our President, Council President Wall, and Councilman Banano. Mr. President, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is essentially the same ordinance that we brought before the council about a month ago. There was some wordsmithing that had to be done, but essentially you look at the changes, and I certainly heard the speaker this evening say that we probably have to make sure that the ordinances, the whole the section of ordinances are clear that this is the premises. I think before that goes before the council, we'll be able to take care of that. But if you look at it, it's pretty much, it's basically saying fine people a little bit more. Because the truth is, what we're doing right now, if I take the property that we were referring to so many times over the last 6 months, we haven't fined them $25. We haven't fined them, I want to say that. It's been since April, we have not fined them $25 for our time and our efforts, not $25. So we have to do something to make it a little bit more urgent on this matter. So that's why I put it forth. It's the same thing I said a month ago. I don't know if the Councilman Banano, who also was involved in this, would like to say anything. That's up to the chair.
Councilman Banano.
Yes,
floor is yours.
well, again, I think, I'm pretty sure everybody agrees with the spirit of it. I think Attorney Murray in his public comment brought up a good point. The lawyers are speaking to each other over there. So when they come up for air, I might want to ask them about what Attorney Murray said, to see if we can make sure we get it right and if we have to change anything. So that's all I have to say for now. When they come back, I'll ask that. No, is John there? I can't see. Attorney Videcchia, do you have any opinion on the language used as far as rat proofing and whether or not something's inside or outside? And should we change anything in this ordinance before we push it to full council, assuming it passes?
The term premises, as I understand it, and I understand Mr. Murray's concerns, the term premises, to me, does not, in my opinion, this is my opinion, doesn't necessarily limit, the definition is not limited to a building inside or outside. Premises, to me, includes exterior as well as interior. If you want to clarify it more, then I think you could simply amend the language to clarify it and just add the terms exterior. Premises includes exterior as well as interior, just if you want to clarify it some more. I think premises is all inclusive. That's my opinion.
I tend to agree with you, but I also see, my father's an attorney, and he would argue with me about what a cookie was when I asked him for a cookie when I was 5 years old. So, I also see Attorney Murray's point. As a sponsor, wherever the word premises or premise or whatever that appears, is it within my purview to make a motion to add in parentheses after the word premises inside and outside, or interior and exterior?
Yeah, I think you could insert a comma as opposed to parentheses, a comma, and you could put language which says premises to include interior and exterior portions of the premises.
All right, so in the emboldened print on line 38, determines that the premises, comma, interior and exterior.
Actually, Solicitor Malay made a good point.
Okay.
I think we should probably just limit it to say that premises includes all exterior areas. And the reason I say that, and he brought up a good point, is that to legislate and tell people what they must do with regard to the inside of their homes might be problematic.
All right,
So
that's fair enough.
just to clarify that premises also refers to all exterior areas.
All right, so what I'm going to motion that on line 38, we add, so it reads, determines that the premises, comma, including the exterior of the property is in rat-proof condition, so on and so forth.
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, please take a roll. Any discussion? None. Clerk, please take a roll.
So Vice President Haran,
Yes.
Councilwoman Baziri,
Yes.
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Banano,
Yes.
Councilman Andujar.
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
Motion carries. May I entertain a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
As amended, yeah.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve as amended.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, clerk, please take a roll.
Council Vice President Haran,
Yes.
Councilwoman Baziri,
Yes.
Councilman Campiano.
Yes.
Council Banano,
Yes.
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
I'd like to thank everybody for, this is the longest ordinance meeting that we've had so far this year. There are no council communications. May I entertain a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it. Motion, meeting adjourned.
The next meeting will start in approximately 10 minutes. I just have to confer for a moment. Evening, and welcome to this October 16th Special City Council meeting. At this time, I'm going to ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Councilwoman Graziano, Councilman Andujar,
Present.
Councilman Ritz,
Present.
Council Trafficante, Councilwoman Baziri,
Present.
Councilman Campiano,
Present.
Councilman Banano,
Present.
Council Vice President Haroyan,
Present.
Council President Wall.
Here. Before we begin, let me start with a couple of programming notes. All right. First, public comment was inadvertently left off the docket tonight. So one of the first things I'm going to ask for is a motion to make public comment on docketed items. I'll ask for that in a moment. Okay, not just yet. Also, I'm going to make another programming note. When we get to the letter of engagement for Attorney Michael Marcello, we're probably I'm going to ask for a motion at that time to refer that to the Finance Committee, just so we do everything, dot all our I's, cross all our T's, and do it properly, so we advertise it correctly and we don't fall into any issues with that. So I'm going to start right off before we even start for a motion. I'm going to ask for a motion to have public comment this evening on docketed matters.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, there being none, clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilman Andujar.
Yes.
Councilman Ritz. Council Trafficante. Councilwoman Baziri,
Yes.
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Banano,
Yes.
Council Vice President Haroyan, Council President Wall.
Yes. Okay, so at this time, I'm going to ask if there's anyone in the chambers this evening who would like to speak on docketed matters only, please step up to the podium. You'll have 4 minutes to speak, and I'd like your name and your address for the record. Okay, I see none. I'm going to ask Tom, is there anyone online who would like to make a public comment?
There is no public comment online.
Okay, so at that point, I'll just close public comment. All right, so we're going to go right to reports of committee. I'm going to turn the floor over to Council Vice President Haroyan as Chair of the Safety Services and License Committee.
Earlier tonight, the Special Safety Services Licensing Committee did meet and we did vote to approve the Class BV liquor license. It is over cap for the city, and I'm going to ask tonight that we also approve this.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, any discussion? Seeing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Councilman Ritz,
Yes.
Council Trafficante. Councilwoman Baziri.
Yes.
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Banano,
Yes.
Council Vice President Haroyan,
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes, that motion carries. All right, moving right along to report of Chairman of the Ordinance Committee. It's Councilman Andujar. The floor is yours, Councilman Andujar.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had a successful meeting. The motion did pass. This was for the Housing Court to create a new division or added to the division of the municipal court. It did pass, but at this time, I would urge to table this for to fix some technicalities, and we could come back to a special meeting.
Would we require a motion to table? Or can he just, okay. Is
So
there-
moved, Mr.
okay.
President.
Is a motion to table, is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? There being none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Councilman Ritz.
Yes.
Council Trafficante. Councilwoman Baziri,
Yes.
Councilman Campiano.
Yes.
Council Banano,
Yes.
Council Vice President Haroyan,
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes. Okay, moving on to new business. This would be the appointment of Attorney Michael Marcello as legal counsel and litigation counsel for the Cranston City Council for a term ending January 1st, 2027. Is there a motion?
So moved, Mr. President.
Second.
Second.
That would be a motion to approve?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there's a motion made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, there being none, clerk, please call. Did you raise your hand?
He did first.
All right, see, as soon as I put my head down. Anyway, Councilman Campiano.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to say it's going to be a fresh year to welcome the attorney. Thank you very much for considering our appointment, and I look forward to working with you.
Councilman Andujar.
I would also like to thank legal counsel Marcello for taking this task upon himself. We look forward to welcoming you here with open arms and look forward to working with you.
Councilman Bonanno.
I had an occasion to meet with Attorney Marcello a couple times now. I think he's going to be a great asset to our council. He comes highly recommended. His reputation speaks for itself, both in the legal community and in our state government. I did have one question that I will ask Mr. Marcello on behalf of my colleague, Councilman Trafficani. I know Councilman Trafficani and I would like some help when we have to write ordinances. Is this something that you're going to do and help us with?
Please, attorney.
Thank you, members of the council. Certainly, I'll be more than happy to help whatever needs to be done or reviewed or whatnot.
That was,
need one right away.
Okay, I'll pass out my card as soon as you take the vote. How's that?
we're glad to have you and
Thank
we're
you.
very lucky.
I
Thank you.
appreciate the, if you indulge me for just a second, I appreciate the opportunity to serve the city of Cranston. As you know, I used to represent, maybe you don't know, I used to represent the western part of Cranston when I was a rep in Situate. But most important to me is right down the street at Leslie Street. My grandparents had their home. So the Marcellos actually come from Cranston, and in 1947 they fled to Situate, to the country at the time. But it's nice to be back, and I was very proud to see Mateo Marcello on the building plaque that was built in 1936. I'm assuming I'm related to him, but I don't know. But it's great to be back in Cranston. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, attorney. I'll add my comments. I've had a great deal of conversations with Attorney Marcello. I know Councilman Bonanno and I both met with him when we first started talking about handling the litigation regarding open meetings violation. Everyone I've spoke to, and I don't want to embarrass you here, everyone I spoke to speaks glowingly of you. So I think when we actually do vote, we're going to get a very good attorney. Any other comments or discussion, Councilwoman Harain?
I'd like to welcome you also. I've had the honor to work with Attorney Marcello before in both his roles, and I look forward to doing it again. Thank you.
Further? There being none, clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilman Andujar?
Yes.
Councilman Ritz?
Yes.
Councilman Trafficante?
Yes.
Councilwoman Vaziri?
Yes.
Councilman Campiano?
Yes.
Councilman Bonanno?
Yes.
Council Vice President Horoyan?
Yes.
Council President Wall?
Yes. Congratulations, man. The next thing I'm going to move is I'm going to look for a motion to refer the consideration of the letter of engagement between the Cranston City Council and Michael Marcello Esquire, Lewis, Brisbois, and Bisgard and Smith LLP for the services of counsel, attorney, and litigation counsel for the city council for the term of January 4th, 2027. I want to move that document to the Finance Committee. Is there a motion to refer?
So moved, Mr. President.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, there being none, clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Andujar?
Yes.
Councilman Ritz?
Yes.
Councilman Trafficante? Yes. Councilwoman Vaziri?
Yes.
Councilman Campiano?
Yes.
Councilman Bonanno?
Yes.
Council Vice President Horoyan? Council President Wall?
Yes. There being no further business before this committee this evening, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, signify by saying nay. The ayes have it. Thank you very much and good night.